Hi. Today we are going to talk about how 3D is shaping retail in luxury industry. As we all know, the luxury industry has been in complete transformation due to new customers' expectations and with the emergence of new technologies. It is no longer the product itself that matters, but it's also the experience around it. And in this sense, 3D has disrupted the way brands interact with consumers. So today, first we are going to talk about new customers' expectations, then how 3D has been answering these new expectations toward luxury brands, and finally we're going to show you examples from our firm Smart Pixels and how we are using 3D to create unique customization experiences.
So first, we're going to look at new customers' expectation. As you already probably know, the luxury industry is being completely disrupted by new generation. In fact, Gen Z are more demanding. They have new expectations, and so you might wonder why should luxury care about this generation? Well, in the next 5 years, Gen Z will actually represent 55% of global luxury turnover. In 2018, millennials accounted for 85% of luxury growth, and they'll represent 45% of the clients in 2025. But the thing is, Generation Z passion for luxury is not as intense as previous generations. They're more driven by experiences and brand values. So you might want to understand who are these new customers. Well, Generation Z, they are more likely to connect around a common goal or interest. They're born between 1995 and 2006, and they represent 31% of the global global population. They declare themselves as more open than other generation, more creative, most entrepreneurial. They favor brands that have a purpose, a values, and a mission, and they're completely obsessed by self-expression. Their motto is to shock the system. Generation Z always had so many options available to them that either they're fiercely loyal to their brands or they completely don't care about brand loyalty. They use brands to forge their identity, and they have a different way to shop. In fact, 98% of Generation Z use their smartphone in store and through their purchasing process. 85% of their search are done through social media. And before making a purchase, they consult more sources than previous generation, and influencers are twice as important for this generation. But this all result from the fact of from two main shocks. The visual shock, as Generation Z almost never saw life without Instagram, and they like to scroll content all day. And they made communication organically visual, so they're more demanding for brands regarding this, and they're tired of the perfect Instagram image. They want authenticity, they want to have their say, and they want to co-create with brands. They're obsessed with authenticity. Then comes the stimulation shock. Generation Z are content addicted, and they have an extremely short attention span. Brands have, on average, 8 seconds to prove themselves to this generation. But when they've proven themselves, they'll have hours of attention. Product placement has proven to be quite effective for them. So, for example, Gégère Lecoutre in 2018 did a product placement with, in the movie Anon, and it has proven to be quite effective. So now that we understood why it was important for luxury to care about this generation, and that we have a bit more knowledge about this generation, we might want to look at the challenge for luxury. We've identified 3 main challenges: the desirability challenge, the transparency challenge, and the rarity challenge. The first one occurs from the fact that Generation Z are less materialistic than millennials. They really care about the values that brands embody. They care about ecological urgency and deconsumerism, brand transparency, and authentic brand statement that goes out of quiet corporate neutrality. Also the fact that luxury brands have a tendency to do more than 2 collections per year, make the desire for this product decrease a bit. Then comes the transparency challenge. The transparency is non-negotiable for this generation, especially regarding quality and know-how, which are the DNA of luxury. And they're facing a big challenge, as there's a gigantic demand from the Chinese consumers. And if they want to reply to this demand, they might have to produce more in less time, and this might compromise a bit the quality of their product. So the short-term solution that they found was logomania, putting a lot of logos everywhere, creating joyful experience around it, and it has low economic risk as well, as it's easy to resell in the second-hand market. But in the long term, it's completely destructive for luxury brands, as it sacrifices rarity and quality of the products. Then comes the rarity challenge, from the fact that how can luxury brands stay rare while satisfying this increasing demand? One of the solutions is personalization, as it completely replies to the desire of self-expression from this new generation, and also it creates uniqueness of the product. So if we sum up a bit what we've learned from this generation, there's an urgency for luxury brands to actually adapt to this new generation of consumers. As Sarah always said, companies that don't care to understand how future customers think end up becoming stories we tell. So luxury need to integrate values that are not necessarily theirs, for example, ecology or transparency, without losing their soul. The one requirement that Gen Z have is to enter into strong relationship with strong brands, and generations that have new expectations, as we saw, so they want to be entertained and engaged through unique experiences. They want to express their creativity through the process of co-creation with brands, and they want to be fed with content visual. And all these can be fulfilled through the use of 3D technology, and Caroline is going to talk about it.
Thank you. So now we have seen that the textile industry is facing new challenges due to the growing importance of Gen Z, and that's why they are leveraging new technologies, especially 3D, that has been extensively used in retail experiences. And we're going to start with a quick recap of the history of 3D and how it all started. So the history of 3D really got started with photography in 1838 with the invention of the stereoscope. The stereoscope, as you can see here on the picture, it's a device through which you can see one picture in relief based on two flat pictures. Then throughout the 19th century until the beginning of the 20th century, 3D moved from photography to movie theaters until we reached the golden age of 3D movies in the 50s. At the same period, 3D began to be used in scientific researches for US Air Force because it allowed aircraft to better find their way and to avoid obstacles. Then it's only in 1967 that 3D was first used to model objects. So as you can see here, it was used in the automotive industry to model cars, or by the NASA to model rockets. Then in the 80s, personal computer became more accessible and the technology less costly. And that's how 3D came to video games and animated movies. So here you have the example of the Nintendo 64 with Mario. But what will interest us particularly today is 3D printing and augmented reality. So I'm not a specialist, so I won't go into detail, but 3D printing, there are three main technologies, and they were all found during the 80s. The big advantage is that they are fast and more cost-effective to create product development prototypes. They were first used in the health sector to produce prostheses, and as well in the year 2000 we have the first working kidney. And from 2009, 3D was integrated in innovation and production processes in plenty of industries, automotive industry again, food industry, medical industry. And now coming to augmented reality, so what it is, it virtually presents information that is directly registered to the real physical environment. It must have three characteristics. It must combine real and virtual. It must be interactive in real time, and it must be registered in 3D. It was first used in industry and construction for maintenance, but you probably know it today through the video games Pokemon Go, or in your car with parking assistance, or as represented here in fashion experiences. So we've seen that 3D has been at the heart of the development of technologies such as augmented reality or 3D printing, and it will enable to develop these technologies and to improve their capacity and quality, and as well we are going to find other uses in the future. So now we're going to see how 3D is used through these technologies in retail, in luxury. First, 3D printing. So it's very useful to produce at low cost plenty of objects, even some that are usually very complex to do, because since you don't need to think about the internal structure of the object, it really opens the door for creativity. You can think wide and wild in terms of shapes and volumes, and as well now today you can print in a lot of different materials, which was not the case at the beginning. So to illustrate what has already been done in fashion, I would like to show you two examples of fashion designers that already integrated 3D printing in their creation process. The first one is Iris van Herpen, a Dutch fashion designer who presented at the Paris Fashion Show in 2015 garments combining fabrics and 3D printed forms, as you can see here. And the second example is a dress called the spider dress, which was designed by fashion designer Anouk Wipprecht in collaboration with the firm Intel. Why? Because, as you can see here, the arms and the structure are printed in 3D, and the arms are articulated, actually, and they can wave in case of assault. Now, if you remember the 3D modeling of the car, there are two ways to get it. You can either build it from scratch, or you can scan it to have the same model. So how you do this, you have a digital camera, and that will shoot the product from every perspective. Then the images are processed into a software, and you get this 3D model, but with this you only have the shape of the product. So if you want to work on the outside, the appearance of it, then either you can scan or virtually recreate the materials, the colors, the texture, etc. And then you embed them onto the 3D modeling. So in the end, you get a very realistic representation of the product. And what you can do with this, there are many applications. So here you have a wallet. It's actually not a picture, but made with 3D. So you can think of putting it on your e-commerce platform. So it means if you have this in, let's say, in 10 colors, you don't have to produce every 10 product and then take a picture of it. You just have to, in few clicks, make it in the 10 color, and then you can put it on your e-commerce platform instead of taking pictures. You can as well imagine an experience in retail, in stores, using augmented reality, for example, and I will talk about it right after. With these representations as well, you can put them on social media to communicate on it. And you can use it in marketing tools. So let's say that you know, for example, that Mrs. X bought a red bag, so you can send her the same wallet in red, for example, and you know that Mrs. Y bought 2 weeks ago a green bag, so you can send her the same wallet but in green in just one click. Now, coming to augmented reality, so if you remember, augmented reality combines real and virtual and must be interactive, and I will present you two different applications of it. The first one is based on the projection on a blank product, and if, let's say, this shoe is customizable, so you can, in real time, project the customer choices on the blank product. So it's very interactive, and it's a really good customer experience, and that will really drive people into your store, and it's very effective. And a second option is storytelling. So you can imagine that by scanning the product with a smartphone, and then customer will see it animated in 3D, and you can be creative, and you can think of an animation telling the story of the product, or convey your brand's values, or immerse the customer into your brand's imaginary. So it can create a tie between the customer and the product or your brand. So now we'll see a few examples of what we are doing at Smart Pixels.
First, I wanted to introduce Smart Pixels. So we create interactive customization solution in store and online. We use the latest 3D technology to create infinite product visuals that you can then use through all your platforms. We're expert in interactive product configurator. So as Caroline explained, in a few clicks you can change the color, the fit, the material. And luxury brand already chose us for our exceptional product visual fidelity and our customers' experiences. And you're going to go through the first.
So the first, we are going to talk about online personalization. So as Marie said, we are expert in product configurator. So we always have to do this for every product. We have to scan it in 3D, as I explained you before. So we scan it with a digital camera. Then our graphic designers work on the model to retouch it and fine-tune it. Then they work on the materials to get them as realistic as possible. And then they have to work on the settings as well, because if you want to display your product outside, it's not the same light if you want it to display in a studio. And then our developers has to integrate all the renders into a platform that will be interactive. And yeah, so then you can put them on your online, on your website if you want. So actually, then you can have such an experience. So you can choose the product, then you can choose the area that you want that is customizable, and then you choose the materials, the colors. So let's say you have this bag and you have the flap, and you first have it in blue, but you want to try the red one, and then you want to try with the flowers. And then you do the same. You can choose the bottom, and same, choose the blue, the red, and in the end you have the product that you want, and you can order it, for example.
So this solution has a lot of benefits. First of all, it definitely shortens time to market for products. Internally, as there's no need to do prototypes, you can just show a product visual of a product that doesn't exist yet. So it saves you a lot of time, there's less people involved, it's way more efficient. And externally as well, you can test the demand with a product visual of product that doesn't exist and see how your audience would react to it. It's an extremely flexible solution from the lighting, the views, the background, you can change anything. And it will help you scale content creation. As we know, Gen Z are really demanding on content, and also image sells products. So why not starting there? It's also suitable for all your platforms, whether it's e-commerce, social media, or advertising, anything. So now we're going to go through the second example.
Yeah, so the second one is quite the same as augmented reality. It's combining video mapping and augmented reality. We have one example at our booth. If you want to come, it's right there. So it's basically the same. You have the product configurator, which generates all the renders, and then you can have a system in store that will be interactive, and then customer will come and will be able to choose. Same thing, the area they want to customize and the color. It just really depends on what the brands allow to do as personalization. And yeah, we have another one that is possible. We have it here. We call it the craft pad. So I will just show you. Maybe si on peut avoir le. Merci. So we're going to show you in real time how it goes. So here, sorry if you want maybe to do so that, or you can see it
on
here.
the screen.
Up to you. So here we have one shoe that is displayed, and you can, for example, so here we have tokens. You can change products, for example. So if you put it, that's the other one. Forcément.
Ça marche pas.
Okay, let's start from scratch. Okay. Yeah, so here if you've seen, it has changed, and then if you want to change the color, then you just do this and you have it in blue, or you can change and have it red. And here it's possible to have a tattoo. So you have the shark, and here, yeah, thank you. You can actually make it bigger. Can make it rotate. So yeah, so you can imagine that you can have such a system in your store, and then letting customers play with it, test, try every combination they want, put, for example, this tattoo everywhere, etc. And then they have a really good view of how the product will look like in the end. Si on peut revenir sur le PowerPoint, s'il vous plaît. Merci.
So this solution has a lot of benefit again. First of all, it creates a unique and unforgettable experience in store. It will definitely boost user-generated content. It will definitely also drive traffic to your store, as consumer will want to experience the benefits of this activity. And actually, our customer that used this solution before had up to 3 times in revenue thanks to it. So it will enhance also your brand image, and it's always really well received from the public, the press, bloggers, influencers. Yeah. So that's all for us. Thank you very much. Do you have any questions? Yeah.
Yeah.
Le nom de
Ok.
Hi.
Je parle en français ou...
Oui, c'est bon.
Ok, c'est quoi le nom de l'application ou comment est-ce qu'on peut faire pour avoir le logiciel ou...
Alors, c'est pas exactement une application.
Ok.
En fait, c'est un logiciel que nous, on développe chez Smart Pixels, qui est donc un configurateur produit, où vous avez en fait votre produit et tous les rendus possibles par la marque, toutes les couleurs, tous les matériaux, etc.
Okay.
Et ensuite, en fait, de ce configurateur-là, soit vous pouvez le mettre sur votre plateforme e-commerce, soit on l'intègre dans un système qui est celui-ci, ou qui est un système de projection, en fait.
D'accord. Vous avez une carte de visite?
Si vous venez, on vous
Ok,
donnera, vous pouvez venir au stand.
Désolée, on vient d'arriver.
Non. S'il y a d'autres questions... So thank you again. Don't hesitate to come at our booth if you want to discuss with us further. And yeah, thank you very much. Have a nice day.